Okay, introduction to belt 101. So, some main differences between belts and classical is you use about twice the amount of pressure on lower notes to be able to produce your upper belt. And when I say lower notes, it's lower than the note that would normally support, that same amount of pressure would normally support for classical. So that's one big main difference.
More pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if I'm singing this note in classical, watch my 6 flabs down here. I don't think it can see me. Oh, stand up. I have a visual on it. Okay, right here. Let me get the A. Okay. I'm gonna go very small motion. You might not even see it. Now and my placement isn't perfectly centered right now, but do you see the difference though?
Mm-hmm.
There, it's getting better. You have to definitely warm up if you're not singing it all the time. Okay. Now, normally, if I do that same amount of pressure in classical, it's gonna sound like this. Sorry. Now there's still a little difference there. It's not exactly an octave for the same placement. It might actually be closer to like the F, but it's about approximately an octave. And then as you go higher, like by this C, it definitely is an octave, and then it might even grow to more than an octave of difference of air pressure space.
Okay, so it's the same amount of pressure you would put on a note up here,
Yeah.
you would put down here in belting. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yep. So belting, twice as much pressure for an octave, about an octave or so-ish lower than you would use for an upper classical. So,
Okay.
So what you'd normally be using in your like C, I want to say maybe starting around E5 or F5 all the way up to like maybe even as high as your C6, you're going to be using for these belts over here.
Okay.
For this low A4 to about your E or F 5 as you transition. Okay, cool. So that's one main difference. The other main difference is tongue. It's a huge difference with your tongue and your mouth as a whole. So I'm gonna grab this for a second. We're gonna get really personal here. Just kidding. Okay. So here's my classical. I wish I would have done my hair and makeup today.
I wasn't looking at your mouth.
I know. Is that something great? Just kidding.
Right.
How long has that been? Just kidding. Okay. There's my nice classical vowels, right?
Yep.
And now I'm going to switch over a little bit, but not completely. I'm going to get more shallow with my vowels. My tongue's going to get less sculpted comparatively speaking, because your tongue kind of starts to flatten a little bit in belt. So now I'm going to switch over to more belt. Yawn. Yawn, yen, yin, yawn, yun. Now notice I put that Y. That's a safe way to get there without tensing, which is what my voice wanted to do. That's why I added it. See, there's tension. See? Watch my tongue. So in the back, it gets a little flatter. But then if you notice, when I started getting into the placement, my tongue kind of dips a little bit. It's like a cat hiss. That's a good way to get into your belt tongue a little faster. But you have to remember what width. So usually as also a really good vowel to get there too. It's easier to see my placement for ah. Sounds really good. But there's other vowels that I need to work on beating a little more ah into them if I was to perfectly smooth them out. But now I'm going to go back to classical. Yawn, see if which way has the best light. Maybe right here. Oh, here.
There.
Oh, it's hard to get the right angle. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now in classical I'd go more narrow, but I wanted you to be able to see my tongue. So now I'm gonna go back to full classical. The operatic version. Now I'm gonna go to like if I was in musical theater. Making things a little bit extra bright there. And then I transition into belt. Yeah, yeah. Oh, NYA is also a really powerful combo. Yeah, one, because the N brings you forward and into your sinuses a little bit. When you're in this part, you start feeling it a little bit right here. This is where the placement is. It's like, you're not the boss. Now, when you get to the second flip, there's more changes. It's even more bratty. Okay? And that's another way to get into it faster, is just be a little bratty, a little whiny, but not like, no, you mean it. I mean it. Think of your grandkids and your kids when they were young. That is what you want to tap into. A lot of the natural sounds we make put us into good vocal placement, healthy vocal placement. Okay, so yeah, that first one, yeah. Now it feels nice and loose. Oof, that's great. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I have to think a little more in here. Otherwise, I have to start pushing from here. Which I can. But also sometimes when I do rock, I actually place faster into my nose. It's weird because then you can go you can add the little growl. That's a good placement for pop and Broadway and just all the things right there. Now notice there was one vowel that was not pretty. I is a really hard vowel to belt up there. You literally have to modulate it to almost a EH. So if you have to, only if you have to say an E up there, do it full on with just a touch of an E up there. You don't want to usually go or you have to see. I finally placed it right, but E is gonna be that the I vowel up there is gonna be the hardest vowel out of all of your vowels to train up there. As you're safe is your comfort zone, and when you're learning belt, can kind of help, but sometimes it can trip you into your throat, and you still will have some pushing back here. So avoid any pushing here. It should feel just as smooth down here, I'd say, as classical. Sometimes you want to pretend you don't have a jaw even. A lot of, I don't know if you've noticed this, but for like black singers, a lot of them will go, and they'll kind of wiggle their jaw or their head, and their jaw kind of wiggles with it. Some of it is from having culture, but some of it is from actually just good technique being passed down, which is to loosen all these muscles here and not push from here and here. Yeah, okay. Cool, so that's just kind of a little mini breakdown on that. Okay. And I'm sure I could have said it in half as many words, but whatever.
Okay, so exercise-wise, what should I do?
Okay.
You have
So,
an exercise for me.
yeah, some of them I just naturally demonstrated. Obviously, it's similar to the classical. There's a parallel. Yeah. Oh. You can do just vowels. A, E, O, ooh. Okay. With A being the one I would start you on this week.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is, but for belt beat, just because there is the extra tendency to potentially clench, it's safest with the NY. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the safest ways to get into your belt. So, and you can do it in different parts of it. Like, I'm not going to give you just one place to do that.
Okay.
Do it everywhere, but especially starting a little bit below the flips. So maybe like around here, right below your first flip. Nya, 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 nya. So you have two options here. You can go nya, 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 where it sounds a little bit better. Or nya 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 nya, where it's a lot wider. It's more Broadway. Burn the bridge by the door. A lot of musical theater people go there. Some, once again, from the culture of it, and not necessarily breaking down the understanding behind it. It can help you get to your higher notes faster, but for some people that's an annoying sound. So you can round it back out. Nya, 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 nya. Or even if you're doing nya, ah, nya, 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 nya. A little taller instead of nya, 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 nya. Now this is where you want to get a little bit wider starting, because right here, by this note, you were for sure on your first flip. Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya.
So tell me what you mean by flip.
Flips?
Mm-hmm.
I call them flips. There's multiple reasons why I call them flips, but one, it's there's like a distinct shift in your voice.
Okay, that's what I wondered, if it was the shift in your voice.
Like think of it like a shift in gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so abrupt and distinctive. The classical ones, they're a little bit easier to hide. And once you identify them, it's easier to understand them in both.
Uh-huh.
And the classical does have one right here on the A. That's when you go from your low mid into your passaggio.
Okay.
But yeah, that shift is even more powerful here. And then there's that C. Normally, the passaggio is right here to here. So like the middle of the passaggio is about the C sharp D area. This C right here kind of falls right below that. For some people, their shift for this is a little more leaning on these two notes, but I find the majority, it's best to prep them about by C either way, even if it is the primary is right there. So the C is kind of just what the staple I go by. That C is where your second flip is. So I'm going to describe the first flip first on A here, A4. A4 first, you want to make sure you turn on your motor to the right amount, so a little bit more pressure. It's not going to be as big of a jump as if you were to all of a sudden pop into your high belt. Mm-hmm. But you go into kind of speaking mode. It's called speech level for a reason.
Uh-huh.
You go nya 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya. Now those top two notes, nya. I'm feeling my tongue go from one position that helps that I'm on speech level instead of in classical. So I'm gonna do it to my mouth, but it's really just happening on my tongue. It's really just my tongue that needs to just. See, I can do it without moving my face like that. So the tongue in the back gets a lot wider. Yeah. Now, if you want to keep your flexibility, then once you reach that width placement, you can get away with just the width placement until about here. Then you have to really do the tongue arch. If you don't do the arch, but even if I would recommend start getting your arch on still on the first flip if you can. But the three main things I usually identify with most people are just the doubling, almost not quite doubling, but almost doubling of pressure, the tongue width, and then just barely a little bit filling it right here. Right there in your cavities, right here. The second flip, you want to come full on into your nose, like right here. And if feel my nose. Do you feel the vibration, mm-hmm. especially on that top one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it starts here, even if you can't feel it. But right by there, you for sure are gonna feel it.
Okay.
So this is another really important key point to getting into your second flip, and the second flip is the most dangerous to get wrong. That's why your nya will really help kind of keep you there, because some of us like to swallow vowels and pull back to where we're comfortable, and you just cannot do that, otherwise you'll shred your voice and potentially do other things to your voice. So the first flip is the main one I want you to practice this week, but if after we go through the song you're starting to just crank it out, I might let you go up here, but only for 5 minutes max per day.
Okay.
I've had students that didn't listen to her and they traumatized their voice. And they're like, ooh, and I can fly, and then they did all their high notes and whatever. And then the thing that's funny about placement is that you have to memorize the placement, and throughout the week its tendency is to slide out of place, or sometimes even on the same day. And then also you're using new muscles you're not used to using, and if they get sore, then your body's natural tendency is to revert. So you might get stuck halfway between both habits. That's actually harder on your voice than even being in the old habit and the new habit. Whether it's old habit, like as in a good one, like a healthy classical, or a bad habit, just straight up bad habit. Either way, you're going to be in a rough spot for a while if you don't follow that, which I know you will, but I just wanted to let you know why. I always have to give that disclaimer. So let's go ahead and hear you on this. This should be easy because we're not on any of the flips. Let's get into your speech tone. Go, no, no, no.
Na na na.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk.
Talk.
Yeah. Have you seen Incredibles?
Yes.
She's like, Ed, no, come on. Try that.
And now, come on.
Yeah. And you want to be that loose where you can talk that fast and sing that fast, where then you can get your fun pop runs and some other things. Okay. Let's go. Nya. Again. Again. Okay, so this right here are pretty healthy, but these two notes are still a little bit rough. I can feel them being pressed from the throat, and you want to catch that early on because we definitely don't want to bring that up.
Okay.
So you need to learn to rely more on your abs. Let go of your throat completely. Just disengage from the throat. If you have to put any pressure somewhere, start putting on the back of your tongue.
Nya.
Yeah. You'll feel very exposed. Yeah, like, oh, this feels good. I'm the noisy hot tub / gym guy. Okay? Oh no! Or you're making fun of your kid that's being overly dramatic. Oh no! Yeah, now hold that top part. No! Now just you? Good. No, notice how we're not. No! That's yelling, right? No! It's a form of yelling. If you do yell, I recommend you use that. I actually trained a cheerleader, coached her, like, what did you do? You sound amazing. The same week. So this works for athletes. It works if you want to have a longer longevity as a voice as a cheerleader. You want to learn, if your voice doesn't naturally just slide into that placement, you need actual coaching lessons for that. So even when you go to yell, try to yell more professionally now. Instead of yeah, you really just want to feel that resonating. Yeah, nice. Okay. Nya. Now your is kind of, you're holding it back. You're going nya. No, nya. The back of your mouth is not awake. Oh, we can do some gargling. Do some gargling. The back of your mouth isn't awake yet. Go. There you go. Now swallow. And then go, nya. There. That's open. Now just you. Did you hear that? It kind of jerked into place. The back of your mouth, the tongue is still being lazy. So, no, It has to be engaging and thinking wide and pressure. There you go. Yeah. Good. That was really good, but for the vowel we want You started really great, and then we kind of flipped to
more than that.
Yeah, let's go IH. You know what's funny about that is you're doing more powerfully to do that. That was good. Now let's go to And now just pretend you like your tongue hanging out. Good. Now we're gonna shape it purposely. Yeah, it's hard. Our tongues don't like being told what to do. Even though they can move in so many every direction basically, and it's so strong. And that's part of the problem is because it's so strong, has a hard time like changing form from what we want it to be. There you go. Now let's go. That was good, but you went too high. I want to stay down.
Yeah.
So go into your classical. That's the right placement, but now in the belt with the belt tongue. Almost. You're going and you're getting some tension here. It's getting closer. Massage this. There you go. It's almost there. Do you feel that? Yeah, it has to be so relaxed. Good. And you want that sound to feel really pinky and forward. Yeah, Mr. Isle.
That pitch is hard. I don't know if my voice is tired or that's just hard.
It will get tired faster, especially because you're not perfectly placed up there. So it will. Like I said, that in between will wear you out faster than anything else. So you could only practice this for a certain amount as long as your body, like if we don't get to the second flip today, that's fine. And even getting this concept for this first flip will be super helpful. There you go. I'll take that. That's pretty close. Slide it. That works for you, but then by the second one you clenched up. All of it was good except for the last one. Then you went and clenched up. Spit your tongue out. The doctor's doing a checkup. Yeah. There. That's the placement. Good. Yeah. Your tongue just does not like it yet. So you have to find that placement. Now go Yeah. Now push against me. Good. Now go which is okay placement for We still need Good. That doctor visit seemed to help. So then maybe that you're gonna have to think a little like doctor visit and you can stick your tongue out and go and then but then you do have to stick it in your mouth in order to get it wider, right? Good. And then notice the tongue wants to be by the teeth. Good. Yeah. So that's part of the kind of curve that goes down into it. That Yeah. My teacher, my last coach taught me it for the classical, but for up here, for that cat hiss. But it works really well for getting into your belt down here as well. Yeah. So we did go pretty high. So, but I mean not like all the way into here. I think we did get around here somewhere. So yeah, I think maybe from the G to the B flat is your target area of transition to practice. But start as low as the C.
Okay.
And practice that, especially on A, but also other vowels. Whatever you're comfortable on, that should be the primary one you use this week. So try all the vowels, see which one you like the most. and normally is for this, but your body doesn't like as, at least in belts. Like go sa sa, like go Sally, Sally. Do you know why that's weird for you? Your body is like, we're seeing classical. I want to go Sally. Okay, so that's part of it, and that's also part of the for the you know, up to if you're able to get some of the similar but not the same, similar width in the back of your tongue and that pressure there at the back of your tongue, then it'll be easier to hit that note and you'll have more flexibility. Try that. Yeah. Our body. There you go. That's really pretty. Yeah. That, like our body, once again, if we get scared, we get there naturally. Sometimes not as pretty for some people, they'll go, but most people, is the natural response. And it's the right amount of support mixed with the right tongue placement. So, yeah, it's very technical. Learn all the slow stuff, like memorize at least the whole beginning page, page and a half.
Okay.
And then for this, who is that girl I see? Sorry. Who is that girl I see? We didn't work on your second belt, and a lot of this is pre-second belt or second belt, except until C. So you could do like C, staring straight, but skip who and girl I. Like,
So just start basically here.
basically.
Okay.
And then you can do that whole phrase.
Okay.
And plus in the movie, lots of times she goes, I see, and she actually goes up and not down here too. So I just don't worry about that. I guess for now, listen to it, and you can do it maybe classically, but only if it's not going to throw you off of the transition. Because sometimes it can be hard to just boom, switch, boom, switch, boom, switch. Some people though, it is easier to do both together because there's certain parts of it that parallel. Okay. Cool. So all your low parts, you're free to do. Upper stuff, I would either switch over to classical or just do up to about the A, and no B flat or higher. But when you're warming up, I do want you to go up to at least the B, but not the C. So I do want these 2 extra notes for your warm ups.
Okay.
But not for
In the belting.
Not
Right.
in the belting. Yeah.
Okay.
But not in here. In the song, I only want up to the A max.
Okay.
Or A flat max.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Can
I feel so much like my tongue feels so much healthier. Like my talking voice feels healthy now. Ooh, thank you for letting me get into a healthy
thank you.
vocal space.
Okay. Just stay over. Next week, can I come on
Be
Wednesday?
careful, Zoe. Next week, yeah, just text me and I will let you know what times I have available.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's after 5 for you or after 4,
Well,
or is Wednesday open?
well, as a sub, who
No.
knows? But if you need to do it earlier in the day, I'll just don't take a sub job, so that's fine.
Okay.
But
Well,
last time
just,
it
text
was
me about
6, I think, when you had me come on a Wednesday. But
yeah, that might still work. We'll see. Just text me about it,
okay,
and then I'll let you know if it's open or not.
okay, or sometime Wednesday.
Yeah, I think I do have a 5 to 6, so yeah, it honestly might work good to do the 6.
Okay.
So.
Oh, yeah, 4.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I have a 4 o'clock.
Okay.
But yeah, just text me to make sure so I can double check it. And if I don't check it tonight, I'll check it tomorrow. But